Good morning, everyone. So, today we're going to talk about comparative content strategy, the biggest mistakes that companies usually make. Now, these mistakes, if you make these, they will invalidate all efforts that you put into your comparative content, which is a huge shame because comparative content is one of the most valuable pieces of content that you can create and put on your website. Okay, so first, a very brief overview and a definition of what even is a mistake. A mistake is doing an action or making a judgment that's misguided or wrong. So, most companies assume that comparative content is about comparing your product to your competitor's product. And that's very correct. However, the way we go about creating and structuring and formatting and designing and optimizing this content is sometimes very, very wrong to the point it doesn't drive any meaningful results. Okay? So, here's a very typical example. What I have over here from ClickUp, it's a alternative landing page. That's right. So this is one of the most recognizable comparative, pieces of content. Right? We have at the very top. Let me scroll the way up. Something like Trello alternative. Then we have this table, which very obviously states that our tool is just the best across the board. There's no debate about it. Then how easy it is to switch, and some more description about the features that we have, and then some case studies. And yeah, go sign up right now. So this is a very very typical comparative content piece. And if someone says, "Hey, we have a comparative content initiative," like this is what they 99% of the cases, this is what I have in mind. Let's create alternative landing pages like this. Now the problem is, so mistake number one would be that a company creates these pages and then expects them to rank for competitor alternatives terms. Second mistake is that they expect them to attract a lot of organic traffic from this, right? And then the third mistake is expecting them to convert a lot of users to just a page like this. This is a problem because alternative landing pages like the one that I have just showed you, big companies are doing them because they're running paid ads to them. They're not expecting to get organic clicks to these landing pages. And so that's like the root of all problems because everyone is looking up to what the big companies are doing and try to copy them without really understanding the principles or the reasoning why these companies have even created these pages in the first place. So, in fact, there are four different specialized comparison pages that you should create in different scenarios, let's say. So first we have a direct comparison, like we have here, Clockify versus Toggle. And we'll go over all these examples, but let's just briefly cover the ground. Then we have indirect comparisons like Clockify versus Harvest. That's the page that we are optimizing it for. Then we have alternatives listicle, and then we have the alternatives landing page, so the one that we have just talked about. So now, if you don't know that there are these four different specialized comparison pages, then the result you will likely get from your comparative content marketing would likely be something like this. So here we have Breeze. It's a competitor to ClickUp, a project management software. And what they have done is they have saw like what ClickUp is doing with their landing pages, and they have created like 11 more, or however much is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 12, let's say. And if we check some of these, like they are very, very similar to what ClickUp has done, right? The trial alternative, here's how we are better, and then there's this table and a bit more about the feature, and sign up just like that. Now here are the results. Right, so they have 11 pages here indexed, and they're getting like a whole one click from these pages in a given month. So that's not the results that you're looking for. Right, then we have Agile CRM, kind of like the same story. They have 22 pages and 29 organic clicks that they're getting from these pages. Then we have Mailer Cloud, and email marketing software. Again, 9 pages, 1 click a month. There we go. See that? They have also done looks like a nice job. That's, yeah. And there's the page. There's the table. Very thin on content, but that's, it is what it is. So, why is this happening and how do we fix this? Well, let's go to the first strategy mistake. So, the first mistake is targeting competitor alternatives keywords with landing pages in the first place. So, if we check some of these SERPs like MailChimp alternatives, like we will very quickly see that, yeah, 9 best MailChimp alternatives, 10 best MailChimp alternatives, 11, you know, that's a Reddit post, 22 alternatives and competitors, 9, 13, 13, right? It's very obvious that what people want is a list of competitors that they can read and go explore on their own. Even if we type MailChimp alternative, right, like a singular search, you would think that, hey, in this case, the user, the Googler is searching for just a single tool. Well, no. Actually, they prefer listicles even here because, again, Google is showing up 9 best MailChimp alternatives, 22, 13. Here we have a landing page, which is very rare that you would see this. MailChimp competitors and alternatives, again, 9, 11. There you go, right? Even if we check, let's go with Trello as well. So we have Trello alternatives. Let's go with this one, right? 16, 18, 10, 5, 20, 25, 8. This is like, check here. So we have the page, the landing page from ClickUp. This one is being run like through ads, right? And then ClickUp has a separate page, 20 best Trello alternatives. Like ClickUp knows what they're doing for sure. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. 20, alternatives. There you go. So, takeaway here, when people search for competitive alternatives or even competitive alternative, like they are always looking for multiple options. Like it's the preferred way. Like that's what they prefer essentially. And that's why the SERPs are full of listicle posts. Sure, you might see the occasional landing page from domains that are very powerful, but this is an exception. You should not bet your strategy on doing this, okay? So if you want to rank for these keywords, such as, let's say, alternatives, competitors, alternative, because these are very, very high volume keywords and they convert really, really nicely, like then create listicle posts like the one that we have just saw from ClickUp, or perhaps what we have done for Toggle, Clockify alternatives. There it is, 7 alternatives to consider. That's how it looks like. So we have the best Clockify alternatives. We should always put ourselves in the first position, talk about our methodology, the rating categories, and so on, and how we just made the listicle, and then place yourself in the first position and talk about your tool, well, a bit longer than you talk about other tools. Not the entire article, but just a bit longer, like 25-30% longer. There we go. And then actually like make a comparison, right? It's a listicle post, alternative listicle post. It's not just about listing the tools, but it's actually explaining how they're different from that tool that you're comparing them with, right? Clockify alternatives, of course, have Harvest versus Clockify. Absolutely. It makes sense. My hours versus Clockify. You were surprised that people don't really do this. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so that's what you should do. But now, does this mean that creating alternative landing pages is a mistake altogether? It's actually not the case at all. The landing pages that we talked about in this video, like they're perfect for Google search ads, because the mind state of someone clicking on an ad is much different than the mind state of someone clicking on an organic SEO result, right? Someone clicking on an organic SEO result, they're in the mode of like, research and exploration. Like they want to read stuff, a lot of stuff. But, if you think about the sponsored positions, right, on top of Google, like you would usually bid on brand names to show your landing pages on, right? So someone searches for Pipedrive or MailChimp, they just want to navigate to Pipedrive or MailChimp. And then your ad appears on top and it's like, hey, we're the better alternative, like check us out. They're not in the mind state of like, yeah, I'm just gonna read like a 3,000 word document about this right now. It's like, no, like let me just see the landing page, the nice design, and let me just sign up as quickly as possible, right? So of course, a shorter landing page serves that mind state better than a long comparison page. Okay, so if you want to show up whenever someone searches for a competitor over here, then bid on keywords with landing pages like this one that we have also created for Toggle. Toggle track, the Clockify alternative, sign up form right above the fold, a very brief product demo, what's the main difference, how to get started very easily, and then try to make like a very nice, very fair comparison table. You never want to slander your competition. That's never a good look. Then highlight like 3 points from like how you beat them essentially. 3 biggest problems with Clockify. Here's a quick description and here's how we solve that problem. And then switch over. And then the cool thing about this is that at the very bottom, if people are still not convinced, they can click here to read your more in-depth comparison article, which we will talk about in a moment. Okay, so second mistake is only creating direct comparison pages. So if you remember from the three tools that we have previously, like checked out their effort in comparative content marketing. And by the way, those are all very, very solid tools. Like they're market contenders. They're not like, yeah, they're very, very good tools. It's just that they do not have any search volume around their brand because they haven't invested in SEO, haven't been investing in SEO for like the last 5-6 years, right? Of course, that people will then not search for their brand name versus a competitor. So that's exactly what happens here. For example, Breeze, if we search for terms like Breeze versus X, we can see that only Breeze versus Basecamp has like any search volume at all, and that's 10 search volume in the US, and it's actually 10 globally, right? None of the other keywords here apparently have any search volume. Agile CRM, they're in a bit of a better situation. Agile CRM versus HubSpot, like people are comparing these like 40 and 150 on global search volume. Like that's pretty good. Like if I saw this, like I would be very happy for my client. But the way they go about like creating these pages is absolutely horrible, and they're not ranking anywhere near the top with these. For example, Agile CRM versus HubSpot. Top three positions are for like HubSpot, G2, and Software Advice because like that's their page. HubSpot Alternative 2018. It just does not make sense, right? Why would someone would click on that? Mailer Cloud, yeah, just no keywords. No one is searching for Mailer Cloud versus X. So the problem is that smaller SaaS companies target these us versus them keywords because that's what big companies do. But us versus them keywords for smaller companies, they don't have any search volume. Of course, they aren't the market leaders. They don't have a ton of SEO awareness. So what you do in this case is you target keywords comparing two of your bigger competitors, just like that. So if you're Breeze, like your competitors are Asana, Monday, Trello, ClickUp, and so on, right? So yeah, just go to Ahrefs and find keywords like this. So Asana versus Monday, Obsidian versus Notion, Notion versus Obsidian. Okay, you would actually target both of these keywords with just one page. Trello versus Asana, Asana versus ClickUp versus Jira. And the volume here is just absolutely bonkers. This is insanely good volume. Agile CRM, again, Freshdesk versus Zendesk, HubSpot versus Salesforce, Pipedrive versus HubSpot. Great keywords to try it as well. Mailer Cloud, have MailerLite versus MailerChimp, Constant Content versus MailerChimp. Again, great keywords. So what you do, to rank for these, you create a three-way comparison page like this one. So we have Clockify versus Harvest over here. Let's see if you're ranking for it. There we go. First position, Clockify versus Harvest. That's how it looks like, written by Toggle. And then people click on this, and then it's like right in the intro. This is very important. We say that Harvest is ideal for one type of user because they have this one unique feature or a set of unique features, whatever is the case. And then we explain that Clockify is ideal for another type of user, of course, right? And then we explain that because none of these two tools have this, they do not serve a particular audience that well, and that audience being your ideal customer audience, right? And then you explain that's why we have added our tool in the comparison. And that's just a very good way. Like it's a great way for redirecting product demand or interest from Harvest and Clockify over to your platform. And then this is a regular, very long, very thorough, very in-depth comparison of just between the three tools, right? You don't just talk about, Clockify and Harvest, and then at the very bottom you mention your tool. No, just like include it at the very top in the intro, and then talk about it, like how they compare side by side, feature by feature. Here's Harvest, here's Clockify, here's Toggle, side by side. Here's how they're designed. Here's why this one is better than the other, and there we go. This is a very long comparison. This one is, what I have over here, 5,200 words. It's very long, ranks insanely well. Yeah, these also convert extremely well because people are literally looking for a product like yours, right? If someone is searching for Clockify versus Harvest, lots of them would be interested in toggle as well. Absolutely, right? And yeah, so the typical conversion rates would be like between 5 and 8% of clicks go to start trials essentially, and 1 to 2% of clicks hop on demo calls essentially, if that's the primary call to action. So I have a very long form video of so a very in-depth video on my YouTube channel how to write this. So yeah, go find that one if you're interested. Okay, so does that mean that creating pages targeting direct comparison keywords is always a waste of resources? That's not the case at all. So for example, if you're MailChimp, right? Like look at all the search volume that people, like how many people search for your tool versus a competitor, like MailChimp versus MailerLite, MailChimp versus Constant Contact. A lot of people search for this, or HubSpot, same story, or Hotjar, same story. This is also very nice volume for such bottom of the funnel keywords. And so the thing is, if you don't create content comparison pages targeting, these keywords, well, then other companies, so the market contenders, will do that. And they will do that because I just told them so. Like if you are Breeze and MailerCrowd and Agile, like I just told you to, target these keywords. And if you are, let's say, if you're Hotjar, how you would respond in return, Hotjar's full story, for example. So here, Session Stack, it's one of our clients. We made this for them a year ago. It's still ranked in the second position. There we go. Hotjar versus full story versus Session Stack. Same structure. And then Hotjar versus full story is ranking on top with their own very, very long form page. And they are, of course, beating us because, well, they have the brand authority. It's their own keyword. Of course, they're going to rank for it above us. So yeah, if your us versus them keywords also have good volume like this over here, then you should target them with two-way comparison pages like this one. Again, your landing pages could rank for this. I'm not saying that they can't, but a long form page like this just gives you a lot more options to talk about your product. People are in that mind state that they want to explore what your product does compared to your competitor. And it's just very good way for you to control the product, the market narrative around your product. Very, very good. There we go. So to recap the entire strategy, let me close some tabs over here. The ideal implementation of a comparative strategy would be exactly this. So you create the direct comparison pages to rank for us versus competitor, like this one, Clockify versus Toggle. Come on. Between Clockify and Toggle, very long form comparison. Then you create indirect comparison pages to rank for competitor A versus competitor B. That's what you optimize the article for. And then you add your tool in the mix as well, right in the intro, as I said. Then you should create alternatives listicles to rank for X alternative or X alternatives, search terms. So we have Clockify alternatives here, the one that I showed you previously. So again, very long form listicle. And then you create alternative landing pages for Google Ads traffic, or potentially for you to insert it into the footer of your website. If you have long form pages like this one, you can also insert them in the footer. Also works completely fine. I will leave these examples in the description of this video. Now, if you want any help of this, just book a call with this link and we will talk about what you should do for your particular situation. Now, mistake number 3, like how do we actually write this more in depth and more thoroughly, and the mistakes we should avoid when writing these, I will talk about them in the next video on 5 deadly sins of writing comparative content. So that's it. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye.